Hey, what is up guys? GuitarRock here, welcome back to another Zenless on Zero video. Alright, if you guys are not aware, Jane Doe is coming out in about 2 days from now. So let's talk about her in terms of her pool value overall, right? Because a lot of people have asked me as well whether or not I'm going to be pulling for her. And the answer is yes. I will be pulling for the rat or cow. I don't know, some people say she's a cow tyrant. I think she's a rat, right? Because if you look at the tail, but I can't really tell what animal she is. But hey, I did not pull for Chingy. I am a Chingy skipper, and there's a reason for that. I want to pull for Jane Doe because I can only afford to get one character. So we're going to talk about her in terms of the pool value overall, and should you be pulling for her as a free-to-play player, right? Because she's a very different character, right? Despite her being a physical anomaly character, she's not really a DPS character, but she is still going to be much more of like a DPS oriented, right? So you're basically building a team surrounding her. She's not like Chingy. Chingy is a character that can be slotted into any team, but for Jane Doe, you're pretty much building a team surrounding her. So let's talk about the possible teams that we can have perhaps in terms of trying to build her and what is going to be the best way moving forward. So I'm going to show you guys a list of possible teams right here that I've made with the Paint software. Alright, so which team is going to be the best for you? We're going to try to look at every single individual one out of all of these. So first things first, you need to know a very important factor about Jane Doe. Alright, so this is going to be the most key thing to take note of is about the ability right here. So like I mentioned, she's a physical anomaly, she's not an attacker type. Make sure you guys are building the right W engine. Very, very important. Now you can see right here, she deals a chance to trigger critical hit, dealing massive damage, physical damage to enemies in a short period of time. So she's also excellent at dodging. She can swiftly evade incoming enemy attacks, leaving them open for the counter. So you can see, she needs either another anomaly character or another one person from the criminal investigation special response team. Alright, so when another agent is either anomaly or criminal investigation special response team, Jane's physical anomaly build up rate is increased by 20%. So you need to team her with one of these other characters. Now, this is going to be a little bit more strict in terms of the options that we have, right? When the enemy is already suffering from an attribute anomaly, Jane's physical anomaly build up towards the target is increased by additional 15%. So here's the thing, right? Here's the truth. If you're trying to build a team surrounding her, you are going to need one of this team. One of these category of characters to be able to fit into, right? Because these particular agents are going to be very important. So let me bring up this particular chart from Pritwen. These are the list of characters, alright? So we can have a look in much more detailed manner. So you guys can see right here, in terms of the anomaly characters that we have, what are your other options, right? So right now you got Jane Doe. Some of you guys will be thinking of Piper. So here is the thing about Piper, right? I feel like Jane Doe and Piper might not be the best combo in terms of like putting them together, just due to the nature of they fit a really, really similar role. Alright, so whatever that Jane should be doing, whatever that Piper should be doing, Jane should be doing that instead. Jane should be the one taking the field time, basically applying the anomaly debuffs to the enemy or trying to like crit or trying to do damage. Jane should be the one doing that. So Jane is essentially an upgrade to Piper, right? She's pretty much like a Piper upgrade. That's not to say that you can't make them both work together. I'm sure you can. I'm sure you could easily, but it's still not going to be the most optimal in terms of the output of damage, right? So ideally, in that case, Grace is going to be better. So what about Grace that is so good is also she doesn't take as much field time compared to Piper, I believe, right? Because she's going to be much more of anomaly electric type. Now I don't have Grace, as you guys can see. Grace Howard, she's an electric anomaly character that belongs to the Battlebog faction. Now the most important thing, notable thing about Grace is this particular core skill right here. So look carefully, right? When Grace basic or dash attack hits an enemy and deals physical, she also gains 1 stack of zap. Alright, upon reaching maximum stacks, using a special attack or EX special attack will consume all stacks of zap, increasing the accumulated electric anomaly build up by 65%. So she also can help with the anomaly build up, although not really what you want with Jane. You ideally want physical, right? So you can see when another character in your squad shares the same attribute or faction. So same attribute meaning anomaly, so they can easily do. Faction, unfortunately, Jane Doe and both Grace are both separate, right? Upon hitting an enemy with EX special attack, the next shock effect on the target increases shock damage by 18%. Okay, so very easy to use. You can basically pair both of them together, and then you can put like a third one, can either be, in this case, alright, so you can see this sample right here can either be Seth, alright, which is also from a criminal investigation team, can also combo. You probably don't really need Seth as much since you already fulfill the criteria, right? So where does Seth comes in? So just so you guys know, Seth is going to be in the same banner with Jane Doe, alright, so those two are going to be together. And you can see right here for the banner, do I have? Yeah, so it consists of both Seth Lowell and also NB. Now Seth is also a very unique character. He has a very interesting concept. This is his ability right here. If you pair Seth with either an electric agent or agents affiliated with criminal investigation special response team, in this case Jane Doe, alright, Jane Doe is a criminal investigation special response team. Basically you get the bonus for Seth, alright? So basically finishing move hits an enemy, the target's anomaly build up resistance to all attributes is reduced by 20% for a certain amount of time. So Seth pairs really well with Grace because of that. So I do think that's going to be a very good team, alright? If you have this particular team right here, if any of you guys have Grace, that works really well, alright? Grace and Jane Doe, and then Jane Doe and Seth works really well, and then Seth and Grace, alright, since they are both electric characters, alright, electric agents, they are both able to benefit from the tangible benefit of each other as well. So that's going to be probably one of the better teams overall. Now Seth is an electric defense type character. He's going to be the second defense type character in the game aside from Ben Bigger. Now aside from this team, if you have Grace, right, by far I think pulling for Jane Doe makes a lot of sense. If you have Grace built, right, it's going to be somewhat free to play. You pretty much have one team dedicated to, that's like a solid team that you can basically benefit around. You can see with Jane Doe, alright, and Seth in the same banner. Hopefully you get Seth as well. I think it shouldn't be too difficult to get those. Now the next team that we're going to look at is a Nekomata team. Now some people say this team is going to be a little bit weird because Jane Doe and Nekomata. So Jane Doe is pretty much an anomaly character. She pretty much takes the slot in terms of the field time, right? We're talking about the field time right here. She's going to be out most of the time. So where does Nekomata fits in, right? So in this particular team, if you are using this, if you are focusing in Nekomata as the main DPS, Jane Doe won't have as much field time in that case. Now is this going to be good or bad? So that depends, right? Here's the thing about Nekomata. So you can see right here, in terms of the core passive is whatever, right? She gets 40% damage increase when dodge counter or quick assist hits an enemy. Now this is where you see right here, when another character in your squad shares the same attribute or faction, alright? So attribute or faction. So attribute in this case, we are both physical type, alright? Physical attribute, and you are able to get that physical anomaly build up much easier. Alright, you also will be able to do assault easily. Alright, it is going to be something that I believe, like, I wouldn't say it's going to be perfect synergy, but somehow you are getting the bonus. Alright, so after any character inflicts assault, increases the damage of Nekomata's next EX special attack by 35%, stacking out to 2 times. So you basically swap to Nekomata when you basically apply assault, and then you basically just use Nekomata's EX skill to do the bonus damage in this case. So I think this is going to be pretty decent. It might give you a decent damage return. Is this going to be better than the first team, right? I'm not sure actually. I feel like it depends on how strong your Nekomata is. Now Nekomata's EX skill is quite spammable. It's super spammy, right? Although I still think you are going to stick to Jane Doe most of the time on the field, alright? And then whenever the enemy gets stunned, in this case against the assault, and then you swap to Nekomata to just spam the EX however many times as you can, that's going to be the idea, right? Now you still need another criminal investigation team so that Jane Doe basically gets the benefit, because Jane Doe needs another either anomaly type, or she needs another what is that? She needs another criminal investigation squad, which is going to be extremely finicky, right, for Jane Doe right here. So that's going to be something that you want to like take into consideration. So wait, where? Yeah. So yeah, anomaly agent is going to be required. So Nekomata doesn't really provide that per se. So there's that as well. So it's going to be a little bit tricky. So Chingy comes in that sense. You can also put Seth in that sense. I think it will still work, alright? Either Chingy and Seth. I feel like most players probably won't have both Chingy and Jendo because like it's really expensive to get like all the characters. Now if you don't have Chingy, then go with Seth. I think it works well as well. That's the whole idea is you don't really need the stunner as much in this team. Chingy is going to be, I would say she's not a good option here because this 2 takes a lot of field time. When you put Chingy in, she's gonna take even more field time. So it feels really odd putting Chingy here. I think Seth is going to be the better option if you're running these 2, right? Another option is going to be a Piper, like I mentioned. Now again, this is also going to feel really weird, right? Because you're going to have Jendo right here. And then you will have, you know, Piper is like pretty much competing in terms of the field time. And then Seth is, yeah, pretty much there. So this one is going to be quite interesting, right? So Jendo, and then you have Grace and Reena. Now here's the truth, right? I feel like this could definitely work. Definitely one of the probably better ones as well. If you think about it, Reena is going to be electric support. She's not really an anomaly. But because she's an electric support, she also helps Grace a little bit, right? You can see right here, another character in your squad shares the same attribute or faction. Alright, increase the duration of shock inflicted on enemies by any character by 3 seconds. When shock enemies are on the field, all squad members' electric damage increased by 10%. I don't think I like it as much because the electric damage by 10% is going to buff Grace, but it's not going to buff Jendo. Jendo doesn't get the bonus, right? So there's that as well. So that's going to be something that we need to be very careful with. But regardless, I feel like this team could work. Alright, it's not going to be the most optimal team. I feel like the most optimal team by far is going to be this one. Alright, Jendo, Grace, and Seth. Yeah, that's going to be pretty much like the staple best team for the consecutive time being, right? The Nekomata one definitely needs some testing. I'll see if they can work or not. But I feel like the damage shouldn't be that far behind, right? Ideally, as long as you are able to beat Shiyu defense 7, that's all that matters, you know? That's pretty much all that matters. One more thing that you could also consider, you know, if you guys want to save a little bit for the later version, something to keep in mind is, let me see if you can bring up Pritwan, Bernice coming out in version 1.2. Alright, so remember, Jendo needs another anomaly character to pair with. So you either need Grace or Piper, or you need a criminal investigation member, right? In this case, Seth. You're forced to use Seth. But once Bernice comes, alright, anomaly character, so you can pretty much pair them together. I think that's going to be overall a very good one, alright, in terms of trying to benefit from just getting the bonuses pretty much. Yeah, you just want to have anomaly agent, so I think that could also work, alright, if you are trying to pair them together in terms of just strictly putting them in anomaly, right? So Jendo and Bernice, maybe you can do like 3 anomaly characters as much, but we're not gonna see at Bernice's skill first for that to be able to gauge better, because Jendo, Bernice, what if Bernice is also another main DPS character? So there's a chance that Bernice is gonna fit in her own team with maybe Lucy or maybe Soldier 11, depending, right? I feel like that could be a separate team on its own if you're trying to build fire team. Version 1.2, that's something that we'll have to find out later on. Now, is Jendo free to play friendly overall, right? Is she like a good character for low spenders or free to play players to pull? I would say yes, pretty much, right? Especially if you have Grace, like I've shown you guys in the team building strategy that you guys can see. If you have Grace, I would say this is going to be, you have a complete team pretty much, right? Just pull for Jendo, hopefully you get Seth. Shouldn't be too difficult because in this game, there's only 2 other A rank characters. It's not like you get like 3 more. Hopefully you'll be able to get there, right? Unless you get Jendo super early, then that's kind of weird, but you can try to stack PT, I guess. But Seth is something that you want, and also Envy is pretty much still kind of meta, alright, in terms of the stunner. She's always going to be in another team, alright? You want to try to, you know, pull extra copies for her. If you can go all the way to M6, that would be nice. Mine is M5. I would say the banner overall does have decent value. Now let's also talk a little bit more about the option for the weapon, right? Especially for Jendo and for Seth. How good